How does IHL apply to cyber warfare? Imagine a world where conflicts are fought not just with guns and bombs but with computer codes and digital attacks. It might sound like science fiction, but cyber warfare is very real and growing fast. So, how does international humanitarian law, or IHL, fit into this digital battlefield? Let's explore how these rules protect civilians and guide conduct during cyber conflicts. International humanitarian law applies to cyber warfare mainly when cyber operations happen during an armed conflict or when they trigger such a conflict. This means if a cyber attack causes violence or damages, it falls under IHL rules. These rules cover how wars are fought, including the methods and tools used, and now they include cyber operations. Whether cyber attacks are offensive or defensive, they must follow these laws. The core principles of IHL, such as distinction, proportionality, and precautions, are just as important in cyber warfare as in traditional fighting. Parties must tell apart military targets from civilians and civilian objects. For example, attacking a military computer system that controls a missile launch is different from attacking a hospital's network. If a cyber attack targets civilian infrastructure like hospitals or power grids, it can cause serious harm and violate IHL. A cyber operation is considered an attack if it is expected to cause injury, death, or damage to objects. This includes physical destruction and also interfering with computer systems or networks. For instance, shutting down a nationwide banking system or disabling medical devices in hospitals would be seen as attacks under IHL. Such actions must be carefully assessed to avoid unnecessary harm. The Geneva Conventions and their additional protocols, along with customary international law, provide the legal framework for applying IHL to cyber warfare. But challenges exist because cyberspace is complex. It can be hard to identify who launched a cyber attack or to decide when a cyber operation crosses the line into armed conflict. This makes applying IHL to cyber warfare more complicated than traditional warfare. It's important to remember that IHL does not allow cyber warfare itself. Instead, it regulates how cyber operations are conducted during armed conflicts. The law prohibits attacks on civilian infrastructure and demands that cyber operations respect protections for civilians and civilian objects. For example, hospitals, communication networks, and essential services must be safeguarded from cyber attacks that could cause disproportionate harm. In practice, countries and armed groups need to evaluate their cyber operations against IHL principles. They must ensure their means and methods of warfare do not harm civilians or civilian objects more than necessary. Any cyber attack should be justified by military necessity and carried out with restraint. This helps prevent unnecessary suffering and maintains some order in the chaos of war. To sum up, international humanitarian law extends its rules to cover cyber warfare by emphasizing the protection of civilians and civilian infrastructure. It requires that cyber operations follow principles like distinction and proportionality, even though cyberspace presents new challenges. This way, IHL helps keep some humanity in the digital battlefield, guiding how conflicts are fought and how civilians are protected.